So for today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that I got on one of my videos titled "Why Fearful Avoidants Are Afraid to Feel Their Feelings." And that question was, why is it that fearful avoidants make decisions based on their feelings to begin with? And the short answer to that is they make decisions based on their feelings because that has served them in the past. In the past, when they were feeling like they had to walk around on eggshells, they had this unpredictable parent. They didn't know when they were going to get the loving side of them. They didn't know when they were going to be punished or yelled at for no reason. They didn't know when they were going to be criticized. And so they had to be on high alert all the time and trust their emotions, because as a child, if you're in an unpredictable situation, you're in kind of like in an unsafe place, your survival instincts obviously kick in, and your survival instincts pick up on what's going on in your environment, see what's going on, interpret those sensations, and your brain takes all of that information that you've collected from the environment, from what you see, from what you hear, from the yelling, from seeing maybe your parent hit a sibling, which I've experienced in my own life. Seeing my sibling being hit taught me what not to do, and it taught me to walk on eggshells and not to speak up and not to do certain things. So even just seeing someone else go through certain types of trauma can be traumatizing to the person watching it, because it shows you, okay, like this is an example of what happens to someone who does this thing, and then you see it and you're like, oh well, I better not do that. I must suppress whatever I'm feeling. I need to suppress what I'm thinking. I need to suppress everything, and I need to make sure that I'm safe. So when you see all of these things happening around you and you feel like you have to walk on eggshells and your brain is interpreting all of these things going on from sensations into feelings, now you feel scared, maybe you feel anxious, you feel unsafe, and then it responds with your behavior. So it takes in what's going on in your environment, interprets that into feelings, and then the feelings lead to you taking certain actions. And in the past, that has saved you. Those feelings that you had saying, oh, you're not safe here. Oh, you need to actually like notice your parents' facial cues and their verbal tone so that you can actually protect yourself. Maybe you need to go hide away in your room when you notice they're acting a certain way. Maybe you need to keep your mouth quiet so that you don't say the wrong thing and trigger them. So noticing all of these things and trusting your feelings, trusting your instincts in those moments has helped you survive this far. And that is why you put your feelings on a pedestal, because there has been nothing else that has helped you, because logic didn't make sense. You were in an environment that wasn't safe and there wasn't any logic. It was all emotional. Okay, so a part of my video cut off because I got a notification while I was in the car, but I'm back home now, so there's this a little interlude in the video. But what I was saying was, there was no place for logic with your parents because you were a child. Your brain was still developing. Your frontal cortex doesn't even develop fully until you are 25. So as a child, first of all, you didn't use logic a lot of the time. But also, I wanted to mention that because they're your parent, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. They are literally the one thing that is helping you survive. And so you make excuses, you make up reasons for why they must be doing what they're doing. You justify whatever they're doing, and oftentimes actually fearful avoidants think that there is something wrong with them, or that they're broken, or that they're always doing everything wrong, because when they were young, they were blamed for a lot of things. They were punished. They had to walk on these eggshells, and that led to them blaming themselves for anything that went wrong, because they had to justify, like, why would my parent treat me like this? They're supposed to love me. They're supposed to take care of me. So it must be something that I'm doing wrong. It must be something that is coming from me. And so that means I am broken. I'm not worthy. There's something wrong with me. I can't get it right. All of these beliefs come up because of those past experiences. And another reason that fearful avoidants make decisions based on their feelings, which is also related to survival mode, is because when you are in survival mode, there's a certain part of your brain that becomes deactivated and is no longer in communication with the rest of your brain. And I talk more about this in my last video about how to build self-trust. Because oftentimes when you're in survival mode and you have experienced chronic trauma, meaning throughout your childhood, your parents constantly criticized you, they constantly judged you, they constantly maybe even physically, emotionally abused you, or maybe abandoned you, even whether it's emotionally or physically, any of those things can cause so much trauma and can cause you to constantly be on high alert, cause you to be in the survival mode. And when you're in the survival mode, that actually physically changes your brain and how it functions. And when this happens, then you are no longer making rational choices. And so you rely very heavily on the feelings that you feel. You're no longer just relying on logic and rationale because you don't even have access to that part of your brain. So when that is affected by experiencing chronic trauma, meaning you go throughout your childhood and you experience all of these things, having to walk on eggshells, constantly being afraid of saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing. All of these things over time change your brain and how you perceive your environment, how you perceive things, and it turns off that part of your brain. So now all you're left with is just those instinctual feelings, like the things that just come up and you feel the urge to act on them, because it almost feels like you don't even have access to any other parts of your brain. You don't feel like you can even think through things rationally, and it almost feels like no answers even come to you when you try to think about things rationally. There was a point in my journey where I thought, why is it that I want to be with my partner so badly, and at the same time I just want to push them away? I keep finding things to criticize about them. And I couldn't even come up with an answer. Like, it just didn't feel logical to me, and I couldn't even see the logic behind it. I couldn't see what the problem was, and I was so stuck in those emotional highs and lows, in that push and pull dynamic, and being so entangled with that, feeling so confused and feeling so many contradicting feelings and not knowing what to do about it. I felt like I really had this urge to act on my feelings. I didn't feel like I could just choose the logical thing. Part of me just felt like the logical thing to do meant that it was wrong for some reason. Like, I don't even know where this comes from, but I felt like making the logical decision to stay with my partner meant that I was doing something wrong. I needed to actually act on my feelings because that is what has helped me in the past. I needed to break up with my partner because I wasn't feeling passionate 24/7. I wasn't attracted to him 24/7. And for some reason, that felt like the right thing to do at the time. It felt like I had to do it. It didn't make sense for me at the time, but looking back on it now, it makes so much sense why I wasn't able to see things in a logic. Okay, sorry, the video cut off. I have no idea why it started heating up and the temperature went up, because the sun is not even out right now. It's literally cloudy, but anyways, maybe it just needed a break. But what I was saying was, in the past, it just didn't make sense why I felt such a need to act on my emotions. I couldn't understand why I felt such an urge to break up with my partner, and I just felt like I had to do it. But it made so much sense once I understood that trauma really impacts your brain and it impacts how you view the world. And it gave me so much more compassion towards my past self and to everyone else who has experienced trauma, because I really want you to know that you're not just doing these things and following in these patterns because you want to or because it's a choice. It really feels like it's not a choice, because when you're in survival mode and you're acting based on past patterns, it almost feels like you have no choice in the matter, because your subconscious brain is controlling all of these things, is controlling everything you do through your nervous system, and the conscious brain is only 5% of that. And when it is no longer in communication with the rest of your brain and the rest of your body, you feel like you have no choice in the moment, because it turns off and deactivates that part of your brain. So it makes so much sense that even though you know all this information, when the moment comes, you struggle to put that into practice. But there is also a way out of that. You don't have to get stuck. It's not like this is the only way and you can't heal out of it and you're stuck like this forever. There are ways to heal this, and one of those is to regulate your nervous system. I promise you that regulating your nervous system and releasing these patterns from your body, releasing these stuck emotions from your body, is what is going to help you heal. Because the reason these things keep playing out is because they're still in your body, they are still in your subconscious mind, and they haven't been released. So it keeps acting based on past experiences. But once those beliefs are released, once those patterns and stuck emotions are released from your body, you naturally just start showing up in a more secure way. So there is a way to heal. I want you to know that even though sometimes you know all of this information, in the moment that might not help you. It's really about centering your body, grounding yourself, and learning how to step out of this, learning how to release these patterns, these core wounds from your body, from your psyche, so that you can start showing up in a more secure way naturally, because you were naturally born a secure human being. You were naturally born whole. You were not born to feel broken or like you can't make mistakes or that you're a bad person. You were not born that way. You were always born whole. You are still whole now, and you are worthy right now, but there are just beliefs and past wounds that are getting in the way of that are impacting how you view the world, that are impacting how you view your relationship and how you feel in your relationship. And I want you to know that you're not stuck in this. There are so many resources out there. There are so many ways to heal this. And if you're interested in learning more and going deeper in this type of inner work, I offer so many tools and so many programs that you can dive into, like regulating your nervous system, one-on-one mentorship, the email coaching. There are so many different ways for you to engage with this and to go deeper so you can heal this attachment style. And the links to all of that will be down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so happy to have you here, and I am so proud of you for continuing to show up for yourself, for being so committed to healing, that you keep showing up, you keep watching this content, and you keep trying to find ways to help yourself feel better, to help yourself stop sabotaging your relationship. And in case you haven't noticed, you are doing an amazing job and you keep showing up, and that is what matters the most. That is truly what matters the most, continuing to show up. And even though it might not feel like you're healing or like you're making progress, or you keep taking one step forward and 2 steps back, that is okay. And that is a part of the healing process. That is a part of understanding your patterns and becoming aware of what's going on. And if you actually want to learn more about that, I have a video on the different stages of healing and how you can start to tell whether you're healing or not. And I will link that in the video down below. Thank you so much for watching this video again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.